The following is a Sports Ethos presentation.
Yo, welcome to another episode of Let's Ball Out. It is your boy Kelsley. I was alongside Alicia and Corbin, and we are ready for another episode. How are you guys feeling? How was y'all week?
Wow, you just effortlessly totally took that intro. Inspired stuff. Don't know where you took that, but that was great. Well done. Lakers lost, so I'm gonna say really short. My weekends, but you know what? It's just starting, so I'm sure the week will be better.
It was going great until I just saw Patrick Mahomes beat the Bills, and so now I'm just sitting here stuck. I don't know what to say.
So, it's a quick dive in, even though this is not NBA related, but
Still balling out.
is it because we are balling out actually? Is it because the Jets and the Giants are so bad that New Yorkers have to gravitate towards the Bills, who just became relevant?
Okay, well, I've never been a part of the Jets Giants crew. My dad immigrated from Guyana to America. He was a Cowboys fan because the Cowboys are good. And then he felt like
Okay.
he had to pick a team because, he was in New York. So he picked the Jets. I have never subscribed to that. I was a Raiders fan growing up
Okay.
because of the colors and just the cultural impact that they had on rap. I just like the Raiders. I stopped watching the NFL, I should say, when the Kaepernick situation happened for a couple of years. And
Mhm.
then I recently started, maybe the past 2.5 seasons, started rewatching the Bills and,
Mm.
well, the team. And I chose the Bills mainly because I was dating somebody who was a Bills fan, but now I'm like completely attached to the Bills and I can't stop watching. And I'm just
Mm.
kind of stuck because they lost. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
rough.
my journey to being a Bills fan.
Well, another team that lost today. This is Sunday. It was a great matchup between the Heat and the Lakers. The Miami Heat looking very much, in charge for most of the game, but LA did come back in that fourth quarter, and I believe it was only a 4 or 5 point win for Miami, if I'm not mistaken. I might be generous; it might have been like 8 or 9, but. Anywho, we have to talk about the Lakers, right? When we talk about like teams like the Cowboys, where there's just everybody knows the brand itself. Everybody knows LA, the brand itself, but the team itself is just not looking good. And one of the main things that happened this week was Russell Westbrook was actually benched. We're talking about a guy that was an all-star, two-time all MVP, was brought over from Washington to go ahead and, give LeBron his last 3 years a chance to get more championships and potentially make more than MJ. But this season has not gone as planned. Let's talk about Russell Westbrook's benching, and is Vogel in the hot seat?
Well, I'll start real quick before Corbin goes because we know how Corbin feels about his Lakers, and I want to get all of his tangent in just one sitting. Um, so I thought the Westbrook benching was interesting, seeing how early in the week Vogel was becoming the scapegoat in terms of whose fault it was and the blame pie that was going around. And I really thought that, he kind of was like, what, F it. Like, Westbrook has not been playing well, and it's time for you to sit down. And I completely agree with his decision. If he was going to go down and get fired, and he still may get fired for albeit purposes of what's happening, but if he was going to go down, he was going to go with the ship sinking. And I completely am here for it because honestly, Westbrook has just not been good in the stretch for the Lakers. And you know what? Vogel has to do what he has to do to try to get this team in some kind of shape or form because they're not looking good at all. Like this postseason, I don't even want to see them. Like I I I don't want to see them. I don't want to see LeBron in as an eighth seed at year 19. 37. Oh my gosh. You guys love to say that. So I'm not interested to see it, honestly, but Frank Vogel, do what you got to do to protect yourself in the meantime for the next 2 to 3 weeks, because honestly, brother, your line is sinking. It's sinking bad. It's sinking to the floor, honestly. But Russ, and we spoke about this, Kelsley, in terms of how Russ is playing and what his kind of future is looking like. I don't see Westbrook changing his game. I don't see him trying to shift however the team needs him to. And I think that this experiment, honestly, with him and LeBron and AD is not going to work long term for whatever duration of LeBron's career is in LA. I just think that they have to move on at some point. If not at the trade deadline in the offseason, I don't see it at the trade deadline because $44 million is sitting on Russell Westbrook and nobody's going to take that. So I just think that, they're going to have to figure it out. But LeBron at the point is honestly the only way that the team is going to succeed. So it's just hard to see Russ struggling in terms of how he's going to adjust and him just not making the proper adjustments because either he's too stubborn, he doesn't want to change, he doesn't feel like that needs to be in his game. And at this point of his career, I just think that he wants to go down with how he plays, or that's it. And at some point, you're going to have to take responsibility in how your outcome is. So whether you never win a championship or not, he's just going to have to eat that.
Corbin, yeah, I know you're a big time LA fan. I'm sure you have plenty to say. Go ahead.
I do. You know it. I'm gonna excuse the disrespect to LeBron in his year 19, age 37 season, and the greatness that he has and continue to do. So currently second in the league in scoring. He could potentially win his scoring title. I don't know another player who's done that this close to his 20th season. So I just want to throw that out there. We're not talking about we're talking about Russ. So I'll go back to the main point. I think that we are discounting the fact that Russ has made adjustments even since his benching. For one thing, credit to him for taking that in stride. Candidly talking with ESPN about how he felt that it, he kind of was blindsided by it, but he's going to do what he wants to do to continue to help the team, or do what he feels is necessary to help the team to continue to win. He's had communication with Vogel. Since then, he has had 2 very productive games. We forget, yes, they did lose to the Heat, recording this on the 23rd, but he had 24 points on an efficient shot. I would say efficient percentage from the floor, 9 of 15, 9 rebounds, 9 assists as well. The game before against the Magic, again, shooting just around 50% from the field, 11 boards, 7 assists, keeping his turnovers down. He's had 10 turnovers in the last 8 games. People have been jumping on him, but his role has been all over the place. Whether he's being the point guard, whether he's playing like he did in Houston off ball, whether he's playing more in the dunker spot like a big, like he did a little bit in Washington, like he did in Houston as well before Clint Capella was traded. He's been in several different situations, none of which are ideal for him aside from having the ball in his hands like he wants, which unfortunately he's no longer able to play consistently at that level that it was once excusable. So I think that we just bashing on him because it's the easy thing to do. I don't think it's actually any more accurate. And I do think there's a team. In fact, there's a team that's been reported that would make a trade for Russell Westbrook. It would be the Houston Rockets. They just want draft compensation for it. Now, whether the Lakers do that or do not, I hope they don't, because it would be basically a Russell Westbrook, John Wall swap for the second time. But the Rockets wouldn't mind that as long as they're able to get the salary, because they would do to Russell Westbrook what they're doing to John Wall. And they have no qualms about that. So I think it's just a tough situation to begin with. I think that, we relitigating the same argument. The problem is he shouldn't be on the scene. It just didn't work from the jump. I think that he's been trying to make changes, not been given enough credit for that. I think he's been dragged through the mud for him being the exact same player that he was when he came over. He is who he is. The only people who seem confused by that are the Lakers, and I guess by extension ourselves, because we now have to try to argue why this isn't working, but we knew it wasn't going to work. I mean, I'm delusional as a Lakers fan. Even I was like, I don't know. So I don't know. I think it's going to be okay, though. I think it's going to be okay. This is normally Russ is starting to find his way. This just isn't what people want to see, but his last couple of games have been great since the benching. And let's be real. It's taken, halfway through the season for Vogel to finally say, hey, if you're not actually helping my team win, I need to get you on the bench regardless of who you are. It is what it is. LeBron hasn't had many of those games. AD's been injured half the season, so he hasn't had many of those games. So that means everyone else has been in play except for Russ because of the cachet and everything. And now, since Vogel's on the hot seat, for reasons both in and out of his control, now he's finally deciding to actually coach. Like, credit to him for that. Russ had a bad game then. Keep it moving.
Yeah, definitely credit to Vogel, because if I'm going to go down, by all means, I will be going down swinging. And it seems like that's what he's doing. But I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate, right? Let's look at Russell Westbrook's number. He's averaging just about 18, 19 points per game. 8 rebounds, 7.8, which is about 8 assists a game. He's leading the team in rebounds and assists, right? The only thing is he's just not scoring the basketball per se. And it's hard because you have a guy like LeBron James that is just such a big power when you're on the floor. Like, everybody knows who he is. He's a big presence. That's the thing. That's the word I wanted to use. And again, not only that, we're talking about a team that is constructed pretty much overnight in the offseason, where they have a lot of new players. So let's not even put into effect that they don't have Anthony Davis, who is a big piece to what was supposed to be constructed. So it's just, when things are not going right, you always have to put the blame. And I'm not hearing a lot of blame to Pelinka, because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of, who set this whole thing up going. Russ Westbrook is doing his part. I mean, if you're looking at his numbers, even though he did only averaging about 19 points per game, he's still shooting his average 42, 43% from the field goal. And I know people are highlighting the fact that he's missing a lot of shots, and some of the shots that he's missing, it just don't look good. Like, he does not look like an NBA player. But then when you're looking at the whole body of work, he's still being Russell Westbrook. So go ahead. You had something to say, Corbin?
You said not look like an NBA player. Listen, some of the shots are off, but like, we've seen way off shots before. It's just because Russ is shooting them. I know you're talking about the one he shot off the top of the backboard a couple games back. Like, listen, it's he was shooting over somebody under duress, and it happens sometimes. Like,
so are you trying to say that he has low IQ?
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying that he's doing nothing. We could roll tape for a bunch of other NBA players and get some crazy shots. Okay, it just happens sometimes. That's all I'm trying to say. And because it's Russ, I think it's a polarizing thing. But I just want to say, I think they're normal NBA basketball shots. They just haven't been looking right because he's been all over the place. That's all.
But Corbin, you have to understand this too. He has some abysmal performances from the field.
He does.
Abysmal.
I can't argue that. Yes,
I'm using a almost big word here. That's just SAT word. Like, there's some games, again, some possessions where some possession he just doesn't look like a ball player. We're not even talking about the shots, but then some of the passes as well. Like, some of the passes are not even close to even being in the shooter's pocket, right? And part of that is out of control, and that's his MO since he got into the league. His motor is always high and it's hot, and that's something that would never stop. But then looking at the man in the mirror, I definitely think just like how LeBron James did, because when you look about the LeBron James of the Miami Heat, he was not really shooting threes right now. He wasn't shooting threes, and that was kind of what his downfall was, especially when it comes into the crunch time when they're sinking in and packing in the lane. He has evolved, and he has come into a shooter where he can shoot threes with the ease. Like, he shoots that with the utmost confidence. Now, a guy like Russell Westbrook, I loved his game growing up because his mid-range was sick. I've seen that dissipated. That has, I don't know what had happened, but then again, this game is 90% mental and 10% physical. And within all the noise, and he's in the market, LA, that it's not made for everybody. He's from there, he gets it. But again, that when you're not doing right, okay, you want to put your thumbs down like how Julius Randle was in the Garden. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of pressure, and there's not a lot of people that can play in.
Sorry,
nobody said he's a scrub, but right now, because he's
Randle
not meant to engage. Oh wow!
Just want to throw it out there.
Okay, you know what? Honestly,
sorry. That's all I'm trying to say.
Honestly, I think Randle is an all-star caliber player. I think he's a tier 3. I think he's a tier 3. When we're talking about tier 2s, that's
for the Goon Squad.
Say that again.
All-star for the Goon Squad? Like, we're talking Space Jam? What all-star? What in
this? No. He's an all-star in the NBA. Now, is he a starter all-star? No. That's what makes him a tier 3.
Okay.
But
we'll wait till all-star discussion. I can't wait. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm step out.
But anywho, I done lost my train of thought. All I know is I'm gonna be devil's advocate. Is it all Russell Westbrook's fault? I don't think so. Is it Vogel's fault? I really don't think so. I think part of them trying to gel and work together, right? Because again, they have a lot of new players, and then again, they don't have Anthony Davis. So then, even when Anthony Davis comes back, that's still going to be another 1, 2, 3. They're seventh in the West, y'all. I mean, their record is awful, but they're still seventh in the West, and they're not. They're a few games back to just make it into the fourth seed, so they're not way out the picture. But again, there are definitely below expectations.
I would agree with that. And I don't like the shots at Julius Randle, Corbin. Like, excuse me. Not even excuse me, excuse you. But yeah, I think that honestly, they're going to change the coach at the end of the season. That's going to happen. Do you guys think that? Do you guys think Vogel's job is done? I completely think that after that story that came out, and then the Kurt Rambis, coming down and calling shot. Listen, Frank Vogel is holding on by the hair on his chinny chin chin, and I don't see him lasting very long. So, honestly, who would you like to see coaching the Lakers?
Okay, if I'm gonna be really quick on this, I think he holds on for this year. I think they make a change in the offseason. They've been playing him out by a string for the last 3 years, so it's unfortunate for him. I don't think it's his fault. I think their best coach is the one they should have won if they weren't being so damn cheap, and that would have been Tyronn Lue. But with that not being the case now, I really don't know. Like, I don't think you could bring in Pat Riley, Red Auerbach, and I don't even know who else and save this team, because Rob Pelinka is the problem right now. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure. I mean, if we were to elevate someone from the coaching staff right now, who would that be? David Fizdale, the guy who went 1-5 when Vogel was out in COVID protocols? Like, there's no one here that's going to come in and coach this team better than Vogel has. Maybe make better adjustments. I guess coach to a certain extent better, but I just don't see it. In the offseason, they'll probably try to go for like fresh blood or someone new, maybe someone LeBron's familiar with. I just don't see a market improvement out there right now that isn't already hired and going to be retained by a team that's going to come in and just change his Lakers. Like, I don't see it. I think they're going to move from Vogel because he's not who they wanted to begin with, but they effed up at the beginning and lost that coach. So,
yeah, I don't know who per se I would like to see them. I really don't have a personal opinion about it, but I do think that the problems that they have is more so discipline, not talent. And I think from what I'm hearing, Vogel is very much a player's coach. And I think they have to go a different direction as far as a player's coach is concerned, because when you are a player's coach, the players are a little bit more relaxed. And then now you have veterans on top of it who, been to the highest peak of the game in the NBA finals. So, we've seen the Lakers really be lax all year. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to games where Indiana, right? OKC, multiple times, right? When they come into the game and they know they're supposed to win, and that laxness is getting them beat, because you nix the teams that they're supposed to beat, their record is totally different. It's just no cap. But again, the Lakers are not reaching the expectation, but a team that is exceeding expectations has to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers are fifth in the East. They are 28-19, led by a young man in Garland who has been absolutely fantastic, averaging just about 20 points, 9 assists a game. And they have a 3 7-footer starting lineup. Lowry Markkanen is hurt now, but they're doing something kind of out of the ordinary or unorthodox, and it's been working for them. What do you guys think about the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Actually, I'm very surprised, honestly, at Cleveland being in the 5th spot. If you would have told me that started the season, I probably would have took that bet. But honestly, I think that with the East being so bad, I'm just going to say it, the East is not great. So they have an opportunity to be up there, but their young guys are playing well. I do like Mobley. I do like Jared Allen. I do like their core group of playing in, and they have a good core of vets. They have Kevin Love there, who is backing up. He's able to have a voice and lend an ear to some of the younger guys there. So I do like the core group. I just don't think they're a 5th seed worthy. I just the East is so bad. I'm sorry. Like they're literally 5 back in spots in terms of their record. Like honestly, guys, did we think the Bulls were going to be the 1st seed? No. So I just think that this season is, I don't want to say an anomaly, but they're exceeding expectations, and I don't see them continuing on. But for this season, for right now, and them playing towards the postseason, that's a good first round. Like to make the first round after everything that they've been through, with the city has been through in terms of their turmoil with the team, and with them getting back a decent GM. I don't want to say good, a decent GM in Altman, and a decent coach and a good young core in terms of Mobley. I think it's a good start for them, and I'm interested to see where they go. I don't think that they can retain this next season unless the East is that bad again. But for me, I think it's just honestly the name of the game is that the East is not good, and so they're just up there.
I don't want to cut you off, Corbin, because I know you're about to speak, but I don't think the East is bad. I think the East is extremely competitive. When we're looking at the 7th seed and the Charlotte Hornets, they are 5 games above 500. Now, you can say when you look at the Western side, when you're looking at the 5th seed, the 6th seed in the Denver Nuggets, they're only 2 games above 500. You know what I'm saying? Don't say the East is that bad. And I know right now the Cleveland Cavaliers are 5th in the East, and they're literally 2 games behind first place, which is crazy to think of. But when you're talking about the top of the East, like they have some legitimate players and teams. You're talking about Brooklyn Nets. We know that already. Miami Heat. I'm sure you know by now. Milwaukee Bucks. Okay. And then Philadelphia 76ers. To add on Cleveland Cavaliers, they have a team. Evan Mobley has been playing absolutely fantastic as a rookie. And is right now, if someone can say he is the lead right now for the rookie of the year. He's on the top of the food chain for that. So they're core, and they're doing this without Sexton. Like, hello, like that's alarming to me. But go ahead, Corbin, what you think?
I don't have a whole lot more to jump on about that. I do think that Cleveland is really impressive. It definitely surprised me. I was not high on either JB Bickerstaff or Kobe Altman for a variety of reasons heading up to this year. Didn't think that whole 3 big lineup would work out at all. Larry Markin is a 3. What are you doing? Kobe Altman trading for him to play 3. Like, what is he on? But it has worked out. Like, there's several players that deserve some love this All-Star game. And yeah, I guess you got to give Altman and Bickerstaff by extension that same love. So I'm with it. I also disagree with the East being as bad. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I think that it's just a lot of teams you got to look at COVID and injuries kind of wreaking havoc on a lot. Like, it's not like the quality of all of them have been, all things equal, and we've had every team 100%. The Bulls, I think, have had continuity, but you could say that in the West, the Suns have benefited from that. Like 37-9 and something, and they've been relatively healthy down the stretch. So I think that there's other mitigating factors there. That being said, yeah, I mean, even with the East being, let's just say, weaker than the West, if we're just going to say that, right? You still got to give the Cavs credit because nobody saw them being where they are right now. At the end of the day, you have to win the games, and that's what they're doing. And so all credit goes to them for that. I think they're playing with fool's gold right now. We'll see if, they're able to finish strong this year and then build on that, or if they make the mistake the Atlanta Hawks did last year and go, wow, well, look what happened here. So I guess that means we're Eastern Conference final contenders. Like, hopefully they don't jump the gun on that. But yeah, that's what I got on them.
Well, what I'm hearing is from both of you guys, I think the East has been bad for such a long time, and that reputation is carrying over into this season. But I definitely think it is a new year. But speaking about reputations, let's go back to a few days ago. I think it was Friday. Grayson Allen doing a very hard flagrant 2 foul. He ended up getting ejected. And then to find out days after or the next day that Krusko is hurt and he's going to be out for about 6 to 8 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. His reputation, I'm looking at the play and I see that he's going for the ball. Now, he did swipe again with his other arm, and it's just more so, okay, I can't let you make the layup because I missed the ball. but then his reputation at Duke precedes him, and it's sounding like it's more malicious than what it is. And I think the perfect example that I want to go ahead and put out, we're talking about a game 5, and I believe it was a 2016 NBA championship when Draymond Green picked up a technical foul, and because of his reputation, that cost them the championship, the Warriors championship that year. But yeah, let's talk about the Grayson Allen foul. Was it worth it? What do you guys think about it?
I mean, it definitely was a flagrant 2, and okay. I don't want to say, I don't like the fact that it seems like we may or may not be giving him a pass because of his reputation. Like, Grayson Allen has shown this before, not only at Duke, but in the NBA too. So this is who he is. And I can't excuse it. I don't know why he's like that. Honestly, players like that are just weird to me because you're doing a lot and there's uncertain rules when you're playing basketball that you should just shouldn't do. And I get trying to stop the ball. I get trying to just have a foul and just have them go to the free throw line. But there's certain moves that is just like, come on, bro. Like, I want to say, not to bring this back, but Jokic I know Morris and him had a back and forth, and I know Morris started it, but Jokic literally just pushed him and he's been out. You know what I mean? So it's literally like, it's just weird to see how certain players get certain quote unquote passes, but I feel like everyone's on notice with Grayson Allen. And honestly, he's not on my team. Thank God he's not, because I really would not want to root for Grayson Allen. I'm sorry. Like, that Ted Cruz lookalike is just not, I don't like him. Fuck him.
Wow, she went there. She went there. Okay.
Honestly, I was trying to hold back.
Language, there it is.
I was trying to hold back, but fuck him. No.
Corbin, what you think about the foul?
So, I mean, the foul is simple. Like, the foul was dirty. You know what I mean? Like, it was what it was. I think that if anything, this kind of goes back. The fact that we can have a conversation about it is going back to Grayson Allen and who he is. Like, can you believe it's his first ejection? Like, it reminds me. Okay, let me give an example. It's not even the same, but I'm big with stories and stuff. Like, growing up, come from New York, going to Arizona, like going to school, socially trying to fit in. And I remember I was in these different bubbles. I was playing basketball, I was doing football, weightlifting, but I was also in some of my comics and, my geek stuff. And so I wouldn't really try to pick a bubble to be in. I would like go from one bubble to the other. I wasn't like anywhere near cool enough or whatever to be full-time in the athlete circle, except I knew how to play the game, right? And I wasn't geeky enough to be in the geek circle, but I knew enough to kind of hang around. But I didn't pick a spot. I just kind of went back and forth. So I really didn't have anyone that I could really go like, this is where I'm most comfortable. I feel like Grayson's in the same position in terms of like, is he like just a scum player, or like, is he someone that's trying to earn that like hard nose label? Because he comes in and he does all this sus stuff in college, tripping people and these hard fouls and everything. Comes to the NBA, has one blow up in summer league, and then we get nothing. Like, there's been nothing on him for 3 years now, 2 different teams. Then he comes up and goes right back to the same stuff that he does then. And it's like, oh, well, he's proven this before. But then when you ask people when he's proven it, we're going back 4 or 5 years. Mind you, that's enough to say that there's a body of work that he's done it. But then you have people like the Bucks organization who had the audacity to say they don't believe that should have been a 1-game suspension. You have Chris Middleton who came out and said, listen, he's been on my team. I don't think he's a dirty player. You know what I mean? He's been in situations like he's not picking. And like, that's going to lead to conversations like this, because that was objectively just a total flagrant foul, a dirty play that could have done some serious damage and did enough, as we saw after the fact. But like, I just get so stuck up on what he is trying to be. Like, what circle is he trying to go to? Because if you want to go hard-nosed and reckless, I guess you could put the Morris twins in that one. I guess you could put Pat Beverly in that one. You know what I mean? If you're trying to go straight dirty, there's room for that too. That's the Bill Laimbeer. That's also sometimes the Morris brothers. That's also sometimes Pat Beverly. So like, what's it going to be? Because right now, you're just not winning at all. And you really going out there and being seriously reckless on plays where that wasn't needed. You already hit him pretty hard across with the one arm. You're not catching him with the other arm as you're flying through the air. Gravity's really not on your side, so you're already going down. Like, you ain't Caruso up there in the sky. So I don't understand what that was outside of doing what he did.
It's, I think personally, going off of talking about he got suspended, if what didn't happen at Duke, if he didn't trip anybody at Duke and he didn't have this reputation about him, he would have not gotten suspended. I think it's the addition of his past and the fact that Caruso is gone for a while. I think that combination of both is what led to his.
Sorry, you said Caruso?
Yeah, Caruso.
Okay, I know it was sounding like Cusco.
Really?
Yeah, it's the third time I was letting it. The first time I came,
it sounded like
we got the Blue Yeti.
Okay,
we're probably gonna look back.
I knew you knew it. I was just like, but I don't know if you.
No, it's all good. But yeah,
I was like, nah, I can't.
But going back to it though, the Lakers fan intervenes. But no, on a side note, I think if he didn't have that pass behind him, I don't think he would have got suspended, and I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. But because he has been dormant in a sense since he came into the league. He was really been quiet for the most part. You know, he's just doing his due deals, right, and he's keeping it pushing. But yeah, moving on though, because again, this whole week has been crazy. We're talking about Russ being benched, and there's a lot of storylines. But let's go back on Wednesday, right? Think about the NBA. It has evolved into a more perimeter-based game, and even the bigs have, shown that. And there's two MVP contenders right now, in Joel Embiid and Jokic, and they had extremely very good games on Wednesday. As far as Joel Embiid had 50 and 27 minutes and like 12 rebounds, and then you're talking about Joker, he had 49. 14 and 10 and 10 assists. Like that's unbelievable. And both of them are having an outstanding year. Which player between the two has made a big impact, or I guess you could say for the MVP campaign? Like who did good for their state of trying to win the MVP this year?
I'm gonna be quick here. I think it's Embiid. I think Embiid's been really dominant. I think that he was the runner-up last year before becoming injured. I think this year he's put in a more dominant performance and been injured less, so that's more helpful to his cause. And if you're just looking at the records, you kind of have some combination of best player and the best team. Right now, the contenders for this MVP spot, with the exception of maybe Steph Curry, aren't really going to fit that criteria. But if you're looking at just Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid, you have to pick Embiid just because of where the Nuggets are. And the fact that Embiid has simply just been amazing. Both him and Jokic have been dominant. The on-off numbers for these players are off the roof. But I think that Embiid gets a slight nod, again, building off what he did last year, and being on a slightly better team. And also, let's face it, having the benefit, and this is why I agree with Alicia again, of being in the East. Because if he's in the West, he'd probably be a spitting image of Jokic, like a 500 team with a great center who's doing everything, and the team kind of submarines when he's out. And that's the same thing's happening over in Denver. The difference is that the Sixers' record looks a little bit better, and I think that's a count of, just a little bit of a locale. But that's just me personally. It ain't dang strict of the Doc Rivers.
I'm going to choose Embiid as well. I think that actually, I just want to put out just a quick pointer. I don't like the conversation of people not being able to win it back to back. And so this is not why I'm not just choosing Embiid, because I do think that Jokic is playing a hell of a season, and I do want to give him his props. But Embiid, without, taking over the reins after this whole Simmons saga has happened, and him saying, look, we don't have this guy, we have the people who's here, and we're just going to run with it. And he's just been putting on every single game. And he did it last season. He was injured, like Corbin said, and I'm glad that this season he's a little bit less injured, so that he's been able to show out. And the Sixers are not going to win the East, in my mind. They're not going to be great, but you know what? Embiid is doing what he's supposed to be doing as the man of the team. Like he said, you know what? I'm going to put the team on my back, and everybody follow me. and that's what exactly he's doing. So for me, I'm going with Embiid for this season as an MVP so far. I still have maybe Steph, maybe KD if he comes back, because that team, I did not believe in Brooklyn. I'm not gonna lie. So I do have KD in the mix. Jokic, I have him in the mix too. But for right now, I'm going with Embiid.
Now, I understand that this young man was out for a period of time and his team did very good. But when we're talking about Ja Morant, is he in the mix too for you, Alicia? Let's talk about it.
I don't think he's in the mix for MVP as yet. I do think he's obviously an all-star, obviously first team for me in some instances. I gotta go through my first team so far, but he is made it. He's made it in my mind. I don't have him up there yet, but I really do love Ja's game. Like, I can see him next season if they come out and if they don't get injured, if he doesn't get injured, and they come out and continue to play like they're doing this season, he's probably going to be one or two for me. Depends on what happens.
I think if he has a postseason like Trae Young did last year, and then he follows it back the following year and does what he's supposed to do, I think he definitely will be in the MVP conversation. I don't think he's ready yet, just because they have a really good team and they play very, 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 very good together. But as far as me, I pick Embiid as well. I think when you have a person that is not playing, that is eating up a lot of your salary cap, and you're still able to perform at the high level, and your team is not sinking on the water with no stretch of the imagination. Again, they're 6th in the East, and I believe the record is they're 27-19. I can't see that far. Sorry. But still, they're 8 games above 500. And he's doing the damn thing. And then to have 50 points in 27 minutes, talking about not wasting any time, he took a lot of his criticism because, you talk 2018, 2019, he fell in love with the jump shot. It was almost like how Porzingis is a good example of this. Porzingis is like, he's allergic to the paint at some point in time, right? So he took the criticism. He saw what the Philadelphia did to Ben Simmons and see how hard Philadelphia, the fans itself, are hard on the players. And he took that and he embraced it and he's showing out. And I definitely think he's definitely going to be top 2 or 3 when it comes down to the latter part of the season. We just have to see what he does for the remaining of the season. But yeah, that 50 points in 27 minutes, it definitely hits different. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. But before we do, we're going to try something new and call it How You See It. We're going to be looking at some of the marquee games of the week, and we're going to go ahead and tally down to see who really can call it how they see it. All right. So the first game on the list that we have here on my wonderful board, I didn't play any games.
Not a whiteboard. Not a whiteboard. Oh my God, I wish they could see it.
Listen,
you prepared.
Kelsley understood the assignment. All right.
I surely did. The first game, this is Monday. It is the Suns and the Jazz, and they're also going to play again on Wednesday. So it's going to be one of those back-to-back where they play on each other's home court. So the Suns and the Jazz. Who do you guys have in this game here? The Monday game is at the Jazz, by the way.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Suns, though. I'm going to go with the Suns.
Okay. Let me get my marker out
here. Do I have to have a point difference?
Probably should.
I don't think I should.
Well, if I say Suns too, then we both call like we saw it. One could be fugazi and one could be real,
But listen, mind you, there's a lot of games that we got to go through.
First of all, I'm never fugazi. Like, don't even play with my body like that. I'm never fugazi. Let's start there, okay? That's number 1. All right. Since you want to play,
that's all I wanted to do. There we go. Wake up.
You want to play? I'm gonna go with Suns 5.5.
Suns 5.5. Okay. So Suns 5.5. Corbin, you want to go ahead and add on to that?
Yeah, I'm gonna do Suns. I'm gonna do a little more. Let's do 8.
Whoa. Okay. So Corbin with the 8. Funny enough, I think it's going to be a split. I do have the Jazz winning the first game of that matchup. I think it's going to be a tight game, and even though the Suns are really good in crunch time, we're definitely going to go there, and I think they might win by four or some change. So I'll put myself up there. The next game, the Nets and the Lakers. And this will be without
in Brooklyn.
Oh,
without Kyrie in Brooklyn,
okay.
right?
I love it.
No KD, just James Harden and no KD. And LeBron.
Yep. Oh yeah, it's my kind of game. Lakers by 5. Let's get it.
Okay.
I want to say more, but we can't win by we haven't had dominant win all year.
Yeah, I don't think y'all even gonna win this game anyways. But anyway,
me neither.
I can't wait to call. I can't wait to record. Okay.
I don't even see because I'm gonna have to go with the Nets. I'm going with the Nets by.
Oh yeah, I don't want to be on the show next week. Wow.
Y'all saw that?
No,
what?
I couldn't even hear what y'all said. My microphone fell out, and I see y'all laughing. I thought y'all was laughing at me.
No.
I'm laughing at Corbin's team because I chose the Nets.
The Nets.
Oh, you chose. Yeah. Okay, so she chose the Nets.
Yeah.
You say about what?
I'll say by. I'm gonna go with a close margin. I'm gonna go 2.
2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna skip along. The Knicks.
What's your pick?
And the Heat.
Oh, you
on
picked the
Wednesday.
Nets.
Oh, yeah, I did pick the Nets. Yes. And to be honest with you, you know what? I'm gonna recanter that. I think with the Lakers coming back, they have some good juju about themselves. They're starting to, they can see the good things that they did in the one quarter, which is the fourth quarter. I think that might translate into Wednesday. So I'm going to go with the Lakers. And you know what? I'm going to go by 10 plus.
My man.
Yep. I'm going 10 plus. I think I ate that there. So the Knicks and the Heat.
You didn't. I just want to let you know you didn't. I'm gonna go with the Knicks. This is this is in Miami, right?
This is in Miami. I will be there.
Okay. I may go with the Heat then. Never mind.
May. It was a tough one.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna go with the Heat by let's say 7.5.
7.5. Oh, that's my girl. Okay. Oh, Corbin?
Heat by 15.
Ooh.
No, that's just rude.
Next.
Yeah, because I ain't gonna lie to you. It's definitely giving double digits. I hate that you said 15 because I wanted to say 15 too, but I'll keep it cute since my mama's gonna be in the attendance, and I'm gonna say 12. Heat by 12.
Let's hope your mom, gets some good vibes, good energy to the team, and let's go Knicks.
Okay, another good one, the Lakers and the 76ers.
Ew.
This will be
in
Philadelphia. And that will be also, I think that's on Thursday.
Yeah. I'm going to do Lakers by 4. AD's room to coming back. If we got AD and LeBron and Westbrook, that's too much for Embiid.
You said by 4?
Yeah. We still got to fight the fact that we're playing away, but we're going to win it.
Sorry, Alicia.
What?
I'm going with the Sixers. I'm going with the Sixers. I'm gonna go with the Sixers by let's say 3.5.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going the Sixers as well. It's gonna be 6 or more. They're definitely gonna win by 6 or more points. Yeah, and what I said so that I can, repeat this. You're delusional.
Whoa. Time.
The Lakers are not going to be the 76ers. Okay.
We'll
and I hope you put me wrong because that'll be
you can't tell me nothing. When we come back next week, you can't tell me nothing.
All right. The last game, though, this is on Saturday. This is primetime on ABC. The Brooklyn Nets will be visiting. That's the key word in this sentence. Visiting the Warriors. So that means Kyrie will play. This is
playing in San Francisco?
In San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
I hope I'm right. I'm 99%.
No, you know what? Because maybe I was mistaken. I thought that San
As an away
Francisco was
player.
like New York. And I thought that they had a mandate on their arena, but apparently not, because ABC has been promoting Kyrie versus Klay. So I'm going to assume that Kyrie's going to play.
I think they have a mandate for the fans, not necessarily for the players, which is
weird because
dumb, but
yeah, okay. But anyway, I will go with I may go with the Nets. I may go with the Nets. With the Nets. And I'm gonna go with the Nets by at least 5. I think Klay may be in and out. I think he's questionable in the next game coming up. So I want to see how it plays out for the rest of the week. So right now, with what I know, I'm going to go with the Nets.
Okay. Corbin?
We are gonna go with the Warriors by 7.
Warriors by 7. Okay. Yeah, I have the Warriors as well. And hear me out now. Klay Thompson will have more than 25 points. And the Warriors will win. We'll keep it nice. They're going to win by 4. I think it's going to be competitive, but I definitely think Klay Thompson is going to have his breakout game. Knowing that it's going to be on prime time, knowing that Kyrie is supposed to play, Klay is going to come to play. So yeah, that wraps up Call It Like You See It. I have it here. We're definitely going to go ahead and look back on the next time we air this.
What do we win? What do we win? What do we lose? What are we playing for?
To be honest with you,
rights?
It's going to be bragging rights, but we should put some money in the pile. But I think we should have that conversation because this is going to go on all season long. And when it comes down to the nitty and gritty,
I do PayPal.
In May and June, Cash App, May and June, we can go ahead and save up so where we can really win some nice coins for our basketball expertise. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up the Let's Ball Out. Any of you guys have any last words before we go ahead and peace out?
I mean, listen, I can't wait till next week when y'all get to see how we're all along. It's not about the process, about the results. That's what I'm about. Y'all bear witness next week. That's all I gotta say. It's fun as always.
Okay. Alicia,
I love you. That's what I have
to say. All I know is this guy wanted to talk about the process, and the 76ers has been doing that since 2014, 2015. Like they still on the process, baby. Okay, so you can talk about
they're on the seat of process on the
set up on the results. It's not about the process, about the results.
All right.
They're on the rough. They're on the rough.
They're
not even the result.
They're on the rough. They are on the R. But yeah, it's Alicia. It is Corbin. My name is Kelsley Wilkinson. This is another episode of Let's Ball Out. Peace.
This has been a Sports Ethos presentation.